You know, those late rent notices, the angry phone calls, the mysterious pet stains, does any of that sound familiar? Well, for a lot of Kansas City landlords, that's just the reality of owning a rental property. But what if I told you there's a much better way? A way to swap all that stress for a proven system. Let's break down exactly how the pros handle all these headaches.
Just hearing the words, "the rent is late," can send a shiver down your spine, right? And it's not just about the money. It's about the risk of property damage, the drain on your personal time, and that sinking feeling that your investment is slipping out of your control. But here's the thing. These issues are going to pop up. The real difference between a successful landlord and a stressed out one is having a solid game plan.
98%. Just let that number sit for a second. What if I told you that's the percentage of rent that you could be collecting on time every single month? Now, this isn't some fantasy number. It's what a professional, systematic approach can actually achieve. It's the difference between chasing down payments and enjoying a truly passive income.
And hitting a 98% on-time rent collection rate has absolutely nothing to do with luck. It's all about having a system where the rules are clear, they're consistent, and they're applied to every single tenant every single time. No exceptions. So, why is being so consistent and systematic? Why does it matter so much? Well, because when you're managing a property, ignoring a small issue today almost guarantees you're going to have a huge, expensive problem tomorrow.
We call it the compounding effect, but really, it's just a snowball rolling downhill. You let one late payment slide, and all of a sudden, the due date becomes more of a suggestion. You ignore that small puppy that you weren't told about, and bam, a few months later, you're staring at thousands of dollars in chewed-up baseboards and ruined carpets. Every little exception you make chips away at the value of your investment. And this quote right here, this really highlights a critical mindset shift. Enforcement isn't about being mean or being the bad guy. It's about being a savvy investor. Protecting your asset with a clear, consistent set of rules, that's just smart business.
All right, let's dive into the most common issue of them all, late rent. A professional doesn't react emotionally when rent is late. They execute a playbook, step by step.
You want to know the real secret to handling late rent? It's stopping it before it even starts. Your first line of defense is a rock-solid lease. When your due dates, grace periods, and late fees are crystal clear from day one, written down and signed, there's just no room for, "Oh, I didn't know."
But hey, when a payment is late, the system kicks in immediately. It starts with a friendly, automated reminder. Then it escalates to a personal call or a text. And if the rent still isn't paid, a formal, legally compliant notice goes out the door. It's prompt, it's professional, and most importantly, everything is documented.
But of course, it's not always about the rent, is it? So how does this same systematic approach work when you're dealing with other common lease violations?
And wow, the list is long. You've got unauthorized roommates, mystery pets, noise complaints, you name it. And every single one of these, if you let it go, can damage your property and really sour relationships with your other good tenants.
But here's the key. Whether it's an unauthorized pet or a noise complaint, the professional response is always the same. You document it, you issue a formal written notice, and you track the timeline for them to fix it. This consistent, documented process is your absolute best defense.
And that brings us to what might be the single biggest thing that separates the pros from the amateurs: documentation.
Just look at the difference here. It is night and day. On one side, you have verbal warnings and emotional reactions, which is basically a recipe for legal trouble. On the other side, you've built a fortress of written notices, photo evidence, and communication logs. Which side would you rather be on if things ever get serious?
See, this paper trail is your legal shield. It protects you in disputes, it gives you legal standing in court, and it is absolutely non-negotiable if a situation ever escalates to the point of an eviction. So, how does all of this come together in the real world? Let's take a look at how a professional property management company right here in Kansas City puts all these principles into action.
Imagine having a system that's been battle-tested, one that's been tweaked and perfected across more than 250 properties in Kansas City. That's the kind of experience that turns property management from a total gamble into a science. And a high rent collection rate goes hand in hand with a high occupancy rate, in this case, an incredible 96%. You know why? Because good tenants want to live in well-managed properties where the rules are clear and fair for everyone. Consistent enforcement actually helps you keep the great tenants you want.
Technology is really the backbone of this whole system.
Specialized property management software, like Propertyware, automates all these workflows. It ensures everything is legally compliant for both Missouri and Kansas, and it provides a transparent record of every single action taken. It's kind of like having a virtual assistant who never sleeps and never makes a mistake.
So when you boil it all down, the conclusion is really pretty simple. In the world of property management, structure always beats stress.
This right here is the key takeaway. Look, problems are going to happen. It's just a fact of life. But having a professional, systematic, and documented process in place is what transforms a stressful liability into a stable, predictable, and profitable investment.
So, if you're tired of all the landlord headaches and you want to learn more about how a professional system can protect your Kansas City investment, the contact information right there on your screen is a fantastic place to start.